Hello everyone. Um, First, I would like to thank everybody who commented on my previous videos asking me to be careful about my own identity. I really appreciate the words, and I will use typing instead of handwriting. I'm using this face mask, but I probably won't do anything to my voice because I don't like these softwares that will change your voices. I just feel they're pretty weird. So I guess it's okay. But thank you. Um, okay, let's talk about Wuhan. I was reading some news on the New York Times, and they were talking about whether a quarantine of this size will be effective or not, because it was never seen before. What I think is it was not a question for the Wuhan government, because in the Chinese system, these kind of decision making was made from top to bottom. It was the decision of the top officer or the bureaucrats, whoever is on that seat. So it's basically a decision on a whim. Um, Now it's on the quarantine, so you it doesn't it doesn't really matter for them, like if the decision is right or wrong. It was just done. Do you get what I mean? Okay, so I'll show you some pictures of the real-time updates about how the doctors and nurses are working in Wuhan hospital. But remember that these pictures were taken by the state media, so they're on the positive side, obviously. But you can get a feel how it looks like. So this is the outside of a Wuhan hospital. This is the inside. Basically, you have to change and be really protected to get into the infected zone. As you can see here, they're quite heavily equipped, which is good. So they're on a 4-hour shift. During these 4 hours, they can't have water, they can't go to the toilet, they can't have food, because the layer of the protection was too much. If you take that off, these things gonna be in waste because they can't be reused. So basically, you have to try to use them as long as you can to avoid the waste of the resources, because they're really scarce at the moment in Wuhan. This is their hand after they take off the gloves. So look at this picture. So basically they're holding a flag. They're swearing they will do their best to control the disease, to treat the patients. But this is exactly what I don't like about the propaganda. You see these kind of pictures on the TV all the time. Basically, it's all about positivity. Add oil. Add oil is a Chinese phrase for encouragement. It's like cheer up. We don't need to cheer up at the moment. What they want is the truth. That, like, they want to see what the hospital is like. They want to see if the patients can get the treatment. They want to see how much people are actually catching the disease and the risk, and they don't need all this positivity, like how people are sacrificing themselves to help. But again, as I said, you should remember that these pictures are from the central media, the state media. What reality is too much patients are coming to the hospitals, and both the patients and the doctors and nurses are working under very terrible conditions, especially in the first few days just after the quarantine, because the government just decided to have the quarantine on a whim. They don't know what to do. Like, they don't know how to manage a quarantine of such a scale, because the people under the epicenter, they have to get food. They have to they have, for example, the doctor and nurses, that they have to go to work, they have to use the transport. It's like things are very complicated, and they were not able to handle it, especially in the first few days. It was such a chaos. This picture shows how people are lining up in front of this is supposed to be an emergency center before a hospital. This is a post from a potential patient who's having some light symptoms of the coronavirus. She was posting this in desperation. She was asking for help. I feel like this might give an insight of what dilemma this kind of potential patients are facing in Wuhan. So she said, I can't go to the specific hospitals for the coronavirus patients because it takes almost a day to line up before you can get checked up. Even if I'm not infected, I would get infected during that. I only have light symptoms now. The media is asking us to stay at home and have some medicines, but I can't get these medicines. This one's here is saying, I'm 25, I live in Wuhan. On the 19th, I was having some symptoms. I went to the hospital. The doctor told me it's almost certain that I'm having the coronaviruses. Both of my lungs were infected, but the hospital can't have me. They were telling me to go to other hospitals. I went to another hospital. They said I can only go there the next day. So I went to another hospital again. The doctor told me that it's most likely coronavirus, and he gave me some medicine. I was asking him, do I just go back like this? The young doctor was looking at me very calmly and very sorry. He said, I'm even feeling worse than you because I've seen a lot, but I couldn't help. I was really desperate, so I went home and told my dad I would just be in my room for a few days. On 22nd, I was calling the hospital, asking if they have beds. They told me they will after 6 p.m. But when I was there in the hospital, they told me they can't have me because all the beds are full. I was feeling very bad. And I was feeling bad both physically and mentally at the moment. I was coughing. I was feeling fatigue. I was refusing both of my parents and my girlfriends coming to visit. I'm just on myself. I'm worried about if my family will get infected. I was told that my mom is having light symptoms today also. I'm so afraid. What I saw in the hospital was desperation and desperation. I don't want them to feel the desperation. I hope this article will help potential patients to have less trouble with the process of getting checked up, and hope you will have better luck than me.